Even though we've been on a farm now for over a decade, we are still always trying new things, learning new things, aren't we?
That's right. Yeah. There's so many things that you can do on a small farm, and the sheep have been pretty constant throughout our whole farm journey.
But now we're taking it a little bit of a different direction. We've always raised Katahdin, which is a hair sheep that we've raised for meat. But this past winter, we welcomed on 2 dairy ewes. So this is a new thing for us. We have to get in there, we got to shear these, and we got to milk them, neither of which we've ever done before.
Nope. Sheep shearing and sheep milking are 2 new things for us. So this whole experience was a learning curve in lots of different ways. But thankfully, our 2 ewes, they're pretty well-mannered, pretty well-behaved, and they're very forgiving.
They are about to get perhaps the worst haircut of their entire life.
I have a whole new respect for farmers that do a good job with this. It obviously takes a lot of skill and know-how, and it's not just like trimming your beard. It's a lot different. So.
I'm going to have to take your word for that. It didn't take long into shearing our first ewe pepper for me to promptly cut the tip of my finger off and bleed so badly that I kind of just had to let you do most of the rest. So you're right. A whole new respect for people who make this look so easy. Their wool is so incredibly thick. You're completely cutting in the blind, kind of trying to anticipate where there's going to be bones or dips in the shapes of their body. But this is now part of what we have to do here on the farm. We had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Help was not coming.
And it's funny with something like this, especially with only 2 ewes that we need to shear, we're not going to get a ton of experience doing it. We'll do it probably once a year.
Once per year.
And we'll only do it twice.
Yes. so we'll be bad at this our entire lives.
This is pretty much, yeah. But I do think we learned a thing or 2 on this first go around. And other than just giving them a terrible haircut, I did learn a little bit more about what process to follow.
Right.
And ultimately, because we're not keeping this wool, what we're really trying to accomplish is cleaning them up so that we can milk them without that interfering with the milking.
Right. So all kinds of hay and debris get stuck in the wool. It just makes for a less sanitary operation overall. And so shearing them down, I mean, we didn't get nearly as close to the skin as most shears do because we were very afraid of those shears. They were so incredibly sharp. But the idea is to kind of give yourself a clean slate. Obviously, it takes a lot of weight and a lot of heat retention off of them as we're going into spring and summer. So that's an important element as well. But look, we got through it. And sometimes that's all you can do.
That's right.
They look terrible, by the way. I try to stock my kitchen with the most helpful, long-lasting pieces that I can, which is why I brought Kamikoto into my kitchen years ago. They're offering Elliott Homestead viewers an extra $50 off any purchase with the discount code Elliott50. You can visit kamikoto.com/Elliott Homestead to get your discount. These individually inspected, lifetime guaranteed knives made out of Japanese steel will be delivered to you in a beautiful ashwood storage box after having gone through a 19-step process that takes years to complete. They make their knives with Japanese steel and they're forged by master craftsmen. The result is shockingly sharp knives that are easy to clean, fit perfectly in your hand, and are made to last for an entire lifetime. Michelin star chefs around the world use these knives, and so do I. If you're not sure which knife you'd use the most in your kitchen, I would recommend getting started with one of their knife collections. There's a link right below the video to Kamikoto where you can visit, browse the knives, and use the code Elliott50 for a one-time $50 discount off your new set of Kamikoto knives.
Hello.
Hello.
Think we'll get some milk today.
I hope so.
Here's the hope then. Okay, so here's the deal. We milked the sheep by hand one time. And then we thought, we don't got time for this right now. There is definitely something to be said for learning to milk by hand But we genuinely do not have the time. Milking is really squished before schools and co-ops and all kinds of stuff we have going on. So we got this great little inexpensive milk machine that makes milking the sheep much easier. Sheep have even smaller teats than goats have. So it can be really tricky, especially after a decade of milking a cow by hand. So it's a pretty simple contraption. You attach these to the teats. It goes down the tube into this nice little sealed container, which keeps the milk really clean. So that's what we're doing. And we've done it once before. So this is only going to be our second time doing it. So let's go.
Come on, Birdie. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. Sit down.
Good girl. Okay. Using cow stall for the sheep. So weird milking sheep after milking, like I said, for 10 years. Oh, she's got milk this morning. After 10 years of milking a cow, I mean, you can just control them so much. It's weird. Yeah, come on in.
How's it looking?
Looks really good. She's got a lot of milk. I'm still getting used to the pressure, like how hard to do the pressure on the milking machine.
Yeah.
It has different amounts, and because she's got so much and she's used to this, I think I need to just do it nice and light.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to try today. That's okay. So just giving her a little wash now. But this machine's really cool because it is battery powered, so you actually don't even have to plug it in.
Just to charge.
You just charge it.
Yeah.
This one is just for air, which allows it to create the suction. There's no milk going through now. Okay. So I'm still kind of trying to work out like where I like the bucket placed, where I like the machine placed. But look at this. It's literally just on. And then you can adjust the speed like this. So you can hear it sucking in there.
It takes it a sec to kind of start flowing. I might need your hand just as I see. You can see how these pinch when they get attached. And then I'm going to turn it up a little. She's such a good ewe. Yours doesn't look like, oh, there we go. So we just got to get her to let it down. See it coming. It just takes them a sec to release down. You can see one side's a little bit. Is your side on well? I can't see it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so. I'm going to turn the machine down a little.
No, it's not.
Now that it's flowing, we'll just do it nice and light. Your side looks like it has the most, so.
Look at that. Milk coming.
Look at your bag compared to mine.
Yeah. Mine's a bit bigger on that side, isn't it? Looks like they favor that.
Kenny's doing a pretty good job.
Kenny's doing so much better than she did last time. And this is actually really going to help because it sucks part of the udder down into it, and it does help to stretch your teats out. So if we do need to milk by hand, once the milk is flowing, it's a lot easier to milk by hand. But this little device makes my life so much easier. And I'm noticing, I actually think she's done now.
Okay.
I'm noticing that once the milk is flowing, then you can just kind of back off the pressure. Break the suction. They get their grain, which, I mean, they need. We're asking them to produce a bunch of milk.
Yeah.
They need grain to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy. She's younger than Pepper. She doesn't have as developed of an udder. She's not quite in her full prime yet. But that went way better than the last time. So they still have their lambs with them because, look, if we wanted max milk, we would wean the lambs.
We could wean them now.
We could wean them right now. You could, but the problem with that is then you have to milk all the time. There's no break.
Yeah.
And I think for where we're at with life right now, things pull us away, you know, for a weekend or here and there. So having the lambs is an asset, even though it takes some of our milk. So anyway, so this is really cool. You just can bring the whole dang thing out in a basket, charge it up. It's really cool. And then I'll take it in and clean it. And look at this, it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
It's so small compared to a cow's a cow's bucket, but you know, like we said, this isn't quite the season for us for cheese making and all these sorts of things. So I'm really just excited to have a manageable amount of fresh milk, and yeah, it's really good. Should we go see it? Taste it?
Yep.
She can finish her grain though, huh, Fanny?
Ears don't really have any fur.
Their ears don't have fur?
Yeah, they don't have any, but they don't really have any fur or anything.
Yeah. Well, she also has the worst shearing job that's ever been done to a sheep.
Let's look at my picture.
Poor girl. She looks terrible, but it's all her fault. Do you think, after seeing us milk today, do you think that you could get to the point where you could do that?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think I can do that.
I bet you could if we trained you how.
Maybe.
How to use the machine? Yeah? I think you could totally do it. Do you want to lead her out to the pasture with Mary Peanut?
I'm going to pull out this way, like.
It's good to take her back out where she came. We'll build a little smaller head catch here so that... So Will? Yeah, there you go. Just hook it onto her little collar. Here, you can do it from this side. That's all right. Her collar's so big now that we sheared her. Hey, Juliet. There you go, Willie. Good job. Good job. Get her all the way. Mary Peanut will follow her. There you go. Just pull her. She'll walk. There you go. Keep walking, Willie. Just walk. She'll come.
Oh, and it's like a red rim. That's good. Oh, and cameraman, should we see how we did on milk? Yep. Okay. It arrived safely in our little box. Are you holding the camera still? I think so, yeah. Okay. Try to hold it still, okay? Okay. Say what you paid for, huh? It's a little bit more than a quart, I can tell. So I had to go to a half gallon. Look at that. That is our very first sheep milk.
Wow. Sheep milk.
Yay.
We should make it in butter. No. Cheese.
I think we should make it into lattes.
Okay.
All right.
It's amazing how much our sheep give us.
They really do give us quite a bit. From the milk, the meat, the constant noises.
That's very true. You know, a lot of times people, I guess, especially when you see something like a sheep dairy, right? The focus is just on one thing. It's just on milk. But that's not really how we do it here. You know, we've got a meat breed and we've got a milk breed, but there can still be sort of dual purpose in a lot of ways.
All right, so what are we making over here?
So, in true Elliott Homestead fashion, I'm going to make some corned lamb leg. We're all really familiar with corned beef, but a lot of people don't know you can do the same thing with lamb, and it's absolutely wonderful.
So you've added a sort of a medley of things.
Yeah, this is my part of my pickling spice, and I've got some brine here with some salt and sugar and cinnamon and bay. And you know, really, corned just means it's like a pickled meat. And I know that sounds maybe not the best, but everyone loves corned beef. You can just do it with lamb too. And I think, you know, part of having sheep is learning how to eat lamb. A lot of people don't know how to eat lamb. They think that they don't like it because maybe they've had it prepared in a way that they don't like, or you know, maybe they've only had mutton, which is a little bit of a stronger flavor than lamb. But fresh lamb, it just tastes like the most rich, moist, tender beef that you could ask for. This is a pickling spice that I buy in bulk from Azur Standard every single year. This is the pickling spice that I use for all of my pickles. It's got really beautiful things in it, like allspice and coriander, and you see the crushed up bay in there, and mustard seeds. It's really fabulous. So you can kind of save a little bit of time by just buying this pickling spice pre-done, but that's going to go into the brine as well. So I will do some of this pre-made pickling spice, and then a few tablespoons of mine as well. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Learning to eat new types of meat, you know, especially maybe something like lamb, if that's new to people, it's really just about learning how to cook it in delicious ways. It takes a little bit of effort, but ultimately that's effort that you put in so that things taste delicious to you. This is a really, really simple recipe, even though it takes time. So this brine with its salt and sugar and garlic and all of its spices and aromatics, it's all dissolved together now, but it needs to cool down. So I'm going to go put it into the refrigerator, and then it hangs out in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 days. Gets all of that flavor inside. It's going to be so good. There's so much to love about cooking lamb, especially for the smallholder or somebody who has a very small piece of land, because you can do so much with sheep on such a small amount of space. What they can give you is vast.
Yes, they're more than the sum of their parts, you might say.
They really are, and there are dual purpose breeds that you can use for both meat and milk. We've sort of done it a different way in that we have a meat breed that we keep, and this is our primary source of red meat all year long. But then we also now have our dairy sheep. So we're getting meat and we're getting milk from 2 different breeds of sheep. Mm-hmm. But even still, they're such a huge asset to our small farm.
Yeah, and like we said in the beginning, they've been present with us now for quite a long time.
We've learned how to cook lamb in a lot of really wonderful and delicious ways. It lends itself to so many recipes. And I think for the average consumer, if you think, well, how do I want to eat lamb? Well, how do you like to eat beef? Mm-hmm. It's delicious grilled, marinated, roasted. You can almost use them at a 1-to-1 substitution. Mm-hmm. Lamb to me has a really beautiful flavor, and especially once you get used to how moist it is and how wonderful it is and how flavorful it is, that is kind of your go-to.
Yeah, it is. It's really become a meat that has pride of place on our homestead.
I think that sheep need to be returned to their pride of place on the small farm. I think America has a lot of great small homesteads, and all of them could benefit from having sheep and learning how to enjoy it.
Yeah, and we will for, I think, years to come.